All right, guys, good morning. So, what we're going to start with this week is in that packet we did before the restaurant project. It's a little bit of a thick packet that all of you have. We're going to go back and we're going to do this page that's on the screen right now, which is proportion word problems. Okay. We started talking about proportions and rates and unit rates, and we did a bunch of problems. And we're going to start here this week with this, and we're going to move forward throughout a couple of other things that I want to get through before we get on to the next unit. So let's just do one of these example problems to help you guys refresh your memory. And you can read this little blurb there and remember the key of this is to stay consistent with your unit. So if you look at what I'm circling right here, if miles, or let's ignore the left one for a second, go to the right one. If miles is on top, you want to leave miles on top on the other side of the ratio. Let's stick with this one on the right, although if you do the one on the left, that's also okay. But I like to do this one on the right a little bit more because it's more consistent. Okay. If miles on top, miles is on top on the other side. Let's look at one example. Pete drove 224 miles in 4 hours on Saturday. If he drives at the same rate on Sunday, how long would it take him to drive 490 miles? Now, look at the way that I set up the problem. So I put miles on top. That doesn't mean that you have to, but look what I did. If I put miles on top on the left hand side, then what goes on top on the other side? Miles. So if he drove 224 miles, and this is obviously a proportion, 490 miles goes on top on the other side, which means if I drove 224 miles in how many hours? 4 hours. So 4 hours would go underneath the 224 miles, right? And the question asked me, you got to understand what the question is asking you to find. How long would it take him to drive 490 miles? How long, which will be time. You'll cross multiply like I did here in the green, 224 times x, 224x. And then 490 times 4, which is 1,960. That's where I got this from. Now from here, how do you solve for x? This is 224 times x, so you do the inverse, which is divide by 224. So the inverse of multiplying is dividing. So then the 224s cancel out. What am I left with? Ding, ding, ding. X is equal to 1,960 divided by 224, 8.75 hours. Again, look at this problem the way I set it up and use this as a guide when you go to solve these other problems. And remember the units, 8.75 what? Hours. This one was hours. Something else might be different for another problem. Make sure that your problem and your work that you'll submit today resembles this. All right. Any questions, shoot me an email. You guys are doing a very good job of submitting work, most of you. Okay.